of the temple by profane adolescents.
I'd say God bless you, but it certainly looks like he already has.
You're so dumb.
I do believe in grace, so maybe you'll forgive me for this pickup line. Geez, girl, you got more walls up than Jericho.
He's kind of like full circle there.
Okay. Enough with the pickup lines. They can go too far too quickly sometimes. Now, striking a balance in swagger and delicacy is a tough thing for some guys to manage, and women too. But the pickup line is just the beginning of the relationship, and it's the start of the fun, the thrills, the romance, and the temptation. So it's good discipleship to ask, what are appropriate boundaries in dating? When the time has come for you to look for your Boaz or your Ruth, you want to be the very best version you can be for the person you're dating. Now, for the believer, relationship boundaries and discipleship hold hands and even interlace fingers. I'm Joel, and this is Compelling Truth. The Bible provides clear guidance on setting appropriate boundaries in dating, emphasizing emotional, physical, and spiritual purity. We'll cover the New Testament in just a few minutes, but first, let's cover the Old Testament and swipe right on some good verse matches. Genesis 2:24 highlights the sacred covenant of marriage, reminding us that dating should be a step toward that lifelong commitment, not temporary satisfaction. Proverbs 4:23 calls us to guard our hearts above all else, which means protecting ourselves from premature or ungodly attachments. Song of Solomon.
Yeah, baby, yeah!
Song of Solomon.
Yeah, baby, yeah!
Song of Solomon 2:7 advocates for waiting until the right time, marriage, before engaging in deep intimacy.
Behave, baby!
I adjure you, O daughters of Jerusalem, by the gazelles or the does of the field, that you not stir up or awaken love until it pleases. You see that? Lover boy King Solomon had boundaries. Well, at least until he went off the rails and had 700 wives and 300 concubines. That led to the spiritual downfall, the spiritual decay of Israel, and ultimately dividing Israel in half because a house divided against itself can't stand. So yeah, either way, it's good to have boundaries. While dating was not a concept in Bible times, God tells you and me how to interact with the opposite sex. This includes setting appropriate boundaries that honor both God and the person that you date. Dating isn't just about feelings. It's about preparing for a future that reflects God's design for love. Your boundaries should reflect your love for your God and your desire to grow in holiness. Successful relationships start with purity and seek to honor God and the other person. Setting boundaries in dating isn't just about following rules. It's about protecting your heart as well as someone else's, honoring God, and building a solid foundation. Boundaries are an investment protection, not a hindrance. It's easy to get swept up in emotions and fiery desires.
Yeah, baby, yeah!
But in godly relationships, couples take time to get to know each other. You have to build trust before diving into more serious commitments. Certain gifts are reserved for marriage only. Proverbs 4:23 takes it even further by telling us to guard our hearts. That's why it's so important, in today's world especially, where emotions can be shared freely and quickly. Now, we're called to protect our vulnerability. Men, you're called to protect her vulnerability as well, ensuring that it's shared with someone who values and respects it. So definitely not the rampant bro on a late night Snapchat escapade. When it comes to the physical side of dating, the New Testament gives us great insight. 1 Corinthians 6:18 through 20 challenges you and me to flee from sexual immorality, urging us to honor God with our bodies. Now, this means having the courage to set physical boundaries before temptation arises. Let's look at 1 Thessalonians 4:3 through 5. For this is the will of God, your sanctification, that you abstain from sexual immorality, that each one of you know how to control his own body in holiness and honor, not in the passion of lust like the Gentiles who do not know God. Here's a tip for you. Spend time in public spaces or with your friends where the pressure is off and you can actually focus on building your connection without compromising your values. Ultimately, Galatians 5:22-23 reminds us that self-control is a fruit of the Spirit, just like love is. Boundaries are guidelines that we set and ask the Holy Spirit to help us maintain. It's not always easy, so stay connected to God, surround yourself with wise counsel, and be accountable. You can create a relationship that honors Him and sets the stage for something lasting and beautiful, like marriage. So we know that truth only transforms when it is applied. So ladies, if a man walks up to you and asks if you fell from the sky, well, remind him of the future for fallen angels. If he already knows, maybe he's worth the investment. Maybe a little embarrassed that he messed up the angel bit, but you know how it works. Speaking of investment, remember that emotional boundaries are needed to guard our hearts from premature or sinful attachment. Now, here are a couple more application tips. What physical boundaries are necessary in your relationships to honor God and keep the sacredness of intimacy reserved for marriage? I want you to pause and ponder on that. Maybe you've got a roommate and they've got a new gal. In that scenario, how can you support those who are dating to create and uphold biblical and God-honoring boundaries? For more tips, visit this particular article on our website. Use the link below. Now, additionally, we can recommend our friend's video over at Men on Missions channel titled 7 Awkward Conversations to Have Before Marriage. This one, you men might really benefit from. Check it out. Okay, so the takeaway principle is this. At the church potluck, be the guy who stacks the chairs. Be the girl who brings the brownies. If you happen to both reach for the last fork, gaze into each other's eyes. And if she happens to smile, well, you better take the opportunity, brother. Tell her that this is God's predestination and that this is her fork in the road moment. Lean forward and whisper that dating you is worth her time. Go ahead, push the line for flirtatious fun, but you won't cross the boundary because your discipleship matters.